Uh, Hello, guys. So I would give my introduction probably for another minute or so, so that we have more people joining in by that time. So my name is Rahul Bed. I am a chartered accountant and also an MBA. I have almost around 6 years of experience in various industries. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work in FMCG, banking, and now in consulting. I've always enjoyed the financial markets and financial planning per se. I'm a huge budget guy. So, and I love taking these sessions. So, with that and with a little bit of experience, let's start today's session and hope you get to learn a lot from it. Uh, no prizes for guessing, guys. I know you already know it, but insurance in itself is usually a very serious kind of a topic. So I wanted to keep it a little light-hearted so that we could drive the point home better. And yeah, I mean, consulting habits die really hard. So you usually start off with a joke and then drill down the points. So yeah, Mukul, I think you can move on to the next one. So just before I start, I mean, it's always good practice to do a very quick jog of the memory of whatever we did yesterday. I know a lot of that was context setting in terms of how we are going to get into financial planning and understanding what we want to do and achieve there. But before we move into that, what majorly Yashwant and Vaibhav very eloquently discussed yesterday were four main things. And I'm a huge movie buff, so please ignore if a lot of my analogies are from Bollywood. Uh, so Mukul, can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. Yeah. So just four quick points actually. So first was that I mean it's a personal finance class, and not exactly a class. It's a personal finance discussion. So everything here is very personal. It's only about your goals. It's about your finances. It's about your spending behavior. It's about your grip on your own expenses, your short, medium, and long-term goals, and how you are able to align your finances to your goals. And usually it's not the other way around if we end up spending a lot. So that was one of the major points that Web have discussed, in addition to telling you that there are different stages in our life, and we are all over the Maslow's hierarchy need pyramid. That right now I have roti kapda makan needs, and then I have aspirational needs, and then more so around it we have desires and all of that. The second, again, analogy coming up is about wake up, Sid. So and that was more so to do with the assignment that we gave you, that have a clear understanding of what your goals are. A lot of people in their Excel sheets wrote that my goal is actually to have a good financial portfolio. That's fantastic, but there must be something that you would want to do with it. I mean, mm, it could either be financial stability for the rest of your life from that point onwards. It could be retirement planning. It could be buying a house, asset, anything. So have a clear understanding of what you want in terms of your goals. There can be a lot of common goals, and how flexible and necessary or discretionary they might be. But just wake up and get a grip on your expenses, your budgets, as Weber put it. I mean, writing down your expenses and Excels. You might have a different way of doing it, probably weekly, monthly, or just having a run through of your credit card statement to understand, what are my big baskets that I'm spending my money on, and is it the right thing to do? I mean, the option is completely up to you. The third concept that they basically tried to decide, tried to decipher in terms of goals, and Yashwant kind of really emphasized on it, was the piggy bank concept. So I don't know how many of you have watched movies again. So sorry for giving you another analogy. So don't be a Salman Khan from Mujhse Shaadi Karogi, where he kind of takes a piggy bank and very diligently and disciplinedly keeps money for separate needs, but then ends up breaking it. So be prudent about it. And lastly, so this is very colloquial way of saying that कि पापा और experience है क्या? In terms, this kind of defines whether we have the risk-taking ability, which can be objectively defined if you have somebody to fall back into. It's kind of it inherently becomes a little easier if you have already some level of financial means. And whether you have that psychological experience or that kind of optimistic, strong resolve. Sorry, I think somebody is not on mute. Sorry, yeah. So, agar, if you have both these things, then probably risk-taking ability bhi hai or willingness bhi hai. So, after this very, very quick round of recap, I hope you guys have completely jogged your memory. Your goals are set. You have kind of started thinking about your risk-taking abilities and your willingness, and are all set to get on this financial planning journey. So Mukul, can we move to the next slide, please? So we are ready to start. But are we? So I know understanding your goals, expenses, incomes, and the moment you start aligning yourself to the Warren Buffett equation that your expenses should be a residual of your incomes and savings, that is the start point. But and saving and discipline around your spending is the key. But before we embark on this journey and kind of take a deep dive into what we should do, what are the areas, how we should classify our investments and savings and all of that, it's very necessary to safeguard all the effort that you are about to do for the next 15-20 years before you retire, or if you're planning an early retirement till that gap, that particular effort and the yield and the fruit of your hard work does not get eaten away by something that is not in your control. So just like wearing protective gear before we start playing cricket, what we need is insurance. And I know you must have heard this gazillion times from your friendly neighborhood agent who's tirelessly striving to get you to sign on that dotted line that insurance is important, insurance is important. But trust me, it is important. So let's get into the realm of protecting, the realm of insurance, before we embark on our financial planning journey. And one of the greatest myths around whenever I talk about insurance with my friends, even when with my close family members, is that it's not an investment instrument, guys. And we would usually falter or be in error if we perceive it as an investment instrument. One of the most common questions that I get asked when I'm discussing this topic is, okay, I'll pay so and so premium every year very diligently, and I'll not kind of miss my premiums and all of that. But what do I get at the end of the day? And this is mostly when I'm talking about life insurance. And my usual response is you would get a lot of comfort that your hard work is not going to go anywhere, and that your family is going to be very, very safe just in case of an eventuality that is not in your control. So do keep that in mind, guys. This is, I think, one of the key messages that I would try to, if you can take this home, that it's not an investment instrument. So Mukul, can we move on to the next slide? And I'm sure with the current state that we have right now across the world, across the globe, with the pandemic going on, even if fleetingly so, I'm sure you guys must have given some sort of thought, if not about having a very strong and a very rigid kind of a life, a medical or a base insurance in place. So yeah, there are, so just for the sake of simplicity, there might be a lot, but there are 3 or 4 major types of insurances that we have. The 2 giant red blocks that you see on the left, I wanted to kind of blow them out of the slide, but they are the 2 blocks that are kind of going to form the fundamental pillars of your protection. So absolutely essential to have both your life and health insurance. We'll delve into huge and great level of details in these 2. And then motor asset and ancillary insurances basically can be classified as general insurance bucket. These are good to have depending upon your exposure and your current lifestyle, but also depending upon the level of savings that you have and the other investment opportunities that we have in place, we can make do with life and health. So yeah, Mukul, move Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. Again, we know that कि life insurance important है. काफी लोगों ने बताया भी होगा. But how much is usually a question where most even people from grade A colleges with astute level of financial literacy kind of falter. And even when I started out as a professional early, when I was like 23 or 24, when I started my first job, I have absolutely no clue as to what level of insurance we should take. In fact, I have actually taken my first term plan 3 years ago, and I'm not going to reveal my age. So yeah. So how much? Let's go through a very simple example. Let's consider that we're talking about a gentleman called Pradosh Mitter. He's 40 years old. Okay, so slightly deviant from the average age example that we have. His annual income is in the range of 10 lakhs, and his monthly expenses are around 30,000. And this does not include any sort of home loan EMIs or any other liability EMIs per se. So this is like the basic expenses that you pay, like groceries and stuff like that, transport and all of that. So again, here, importance of having a budget and understanding where your money is going is important. So monthly expense around 30,000, that comes up to an annual expense of 3,60,000-ish in the year 2020. So I think, I hope everybody is with me. It's just multiplied by 12. And let's assume that whenever we talk about how long do I want a life insurance cover, or for how long should I take a life insurance cover, there are usually two ways to look at it. A is, when are you retiring? That can be point A. If you want to retire really early, then kind of the equation changes a little bit. B, what is the time, if you are the sole earning member of your family, that your kids are going to become independent? That after that, whether or not you are an earning member of the family is not going to affect the lifestyle that your family is currently pursuing. So that kind of becomes important. So keep those two factors in your mind. And let's assume कि अच्छे दिन हमेशा रहेंगे, and inflation rate is just going to be 5%. It's currently, last year it was around 4.7-ish. Let's assume that on an average normalized curve, if we talk about, then it's going to be around 5-ish%. So 30,000 or 3,60,000 that you're spending right now, if I just inflate it in the year 2045, when Mr. Pradosh Mitter is planning to retire at the age of 65, that'll be around 12 lakhs a year. So again, let's assume कि शायद हर साल 5% ना हो, and let's be a little conservative in terms of these expenses. So let's assume कि इस साल 3,60,000 है, तो 20 साल बाद जाके probably आपके expenses exactly word to word inflation को match ना करें, but somewhere let's just play the law of averages here, and let's average it out that 12 plus 360 divided by 12, around 8 lakh is going to be your annual expenses. So what is the corpus fund that you will need, which if gives you an interest of certain 4-5%, is going to yield you 8 lakh per year, so that you are okay and you're continuing the lifestyle that you're continuing right now? So that comes up to something around 1.5 crores. And if you add any sort of existing future debts to it, say you're right now paying an EMI of 20,000 per month and you're planning to pay it for the next 10 years, then it becomes 1.5 plus 48, 1.98 crores. And then let's assume that in the course of these 30 years that Mr. Mitter has worked, he must have accumulated certain sort of assets, probably not right from the start. So I've just taken 30 years. His salaried life might be a little longer. So ATC के अंदर ही अगर हर साल 1.5 lakh का जो minimum investment requirement होता है, if he has just invested that over a period of 30 years, probably he has accumulated 45 lakhs. So चलो वो amount तो fixed है. So basically A plus B minus D, if we do, we get a cover which is around 1.5 crore at least that you require. And remember, we have averaged it out. If something happens to you and your family wants to continue pursuing the same level of lifestyle that they are pursuing right now. So this is like a very detailed method. अगर आपको बहुत जल्दी decision लेना हो, which I would kind of advise very strongly against. We say that life insurance is kind of, again, an area where you need a lot of investment in terms of what you're looking at and what vendor you're choosing and what sort of life insurance you're taking. So spend some adequate amount of time on that, and you'll need, so if you just follow a thumb rule, it's usually 15% of your annual salary right now. That should be your cover. If you don't have that, just see ki differential kya hai between your existential cover and the cover that is required. And I would strongly recommend that please go ahead and get an insurance cover which kind of fills in the gap. It's very, very necessary. So now that we have a very basic understanding as to how much, I'll just pause here for 30 quick seconds so that I know this PPT is going to be shared with everybody, but just have a look at the table and the thumb rule and the ways of looking at how you arrive at what cover is required. And I will give very brief commentaries in the meanwhile, so that you are very familiar with this table, क्योंकि ये example हम आगे भी use करेंगे. So just 30 seconds of pause here, guys. So the basic premise of building this table is to look at it from two perspectives. You may have a different view of looking at it, but one would be income replacement. कि जो income अभी हो रही है, can I replace that, or can I sustain my expenses which are happening right now? So actually it's kind of residual, one flows into the other. So I mean, wherever you want to start off your calculation, that's going to be it. So okay, annual expense 15 into annual salary is 15 times of annual salary, guys, not 15%. 15% of annual salary is going to be very less for the total cover that is required. So 15 times of your annual salary. If your annual take home is around 10 lakhs, your cover should be 1.5 crores. So if you see the example, kind of more or less coincides with the thumb rule. And for people, so I had taken an example of only one earning member here. And if you have like two earning members rather than one, a very simple way would be to divide it by two if both of you are planning to take a cover. Kyuki if there are two people, I'm assuming that this annual income will go up. Monthly expenses will naturally be a little higher because as you move up in the hierarchy of life, our expenses kind of start increasing. So if that's not the case and you're supremely prudent, then probably you can divide it by two and take out two separate policies, each for your wife and yourself. Okay, okay. Existing assets right now, OnePlus, I have just calculated it on the basis that you're not doing any additional savings over and above your EMIs and your premiums and everything. It's just the basic just the basic investments that you do each year. I mean, part of which gets deducted as provident fund from your employer, and part of which you kind of make from your own part, like the 80C ones. We'll discuss that more in detail. Just उतना ही saving आप कर रहे हो. तो 1.5 और 30 years of service दिया है तो 45 लाख का existing asset तो कम से कम है आपके पास. तो वो पैसों का coverage करने का शायद जरूरत नहीं है in terms of cover required. Okay, so 1.5 crores, 5.8, sorry. So 1.5 crores, how we have got is if your expense is say 8 lakhs on an average, if your expense is 8 lakhs on an average, if you put a corpus amount entirely into fixed deposit, और आपको अभी present fixed deposit rate 5.5% अगर चल रहे हैं, then you would need 1.5 crores to give you 8 lakh every year. That's the logic behind it. All right, annual expense, what is the logic of 4.8? I don't see 4.8. So Harshal, probably I'll come back to this and we'll take it right at the end. Does that work? Okay, cool. I'll have to take that as a yes. Sorry, we'll come back to it and we'll take it again. All right, Mukul, can we move on to the next slide, please? So jargon alert, guys. Usually when you talk with an agent or when you're looking for a life insurance policy online and digitally, usually there are a lot of jargons that kind of confuse us. काफी भारी लगता है in terms of understanding what is life insurance, what is blah blah blah. Uh, so what exactly are we talking about? Like, can we have a basic understanding of some of the key terms before we kind of get into understanding what is life insurance on our own, digitally or probably reading the prospectus? So just a few things. So sum assured, ये word बहुत सुनने वाले हो आप life insurance में. It basically means what is the coverage. So the amount that life insurance company is eventually going to pay up in case of a demise, and it's usually 10x of your annual premium. So say for example, अगर आप एक plan लेते हो जिसका annual premium 20,000 है, and so you usually get a cover of 2 lakhs. This is usually seen in the case of ULIPs and all. So not in case of plain life insurance, which we'll again cover later. The nominee is possibly the most favorite person in your family who's going to enjoy all the wealth once he receives it as a partake of the life insurance. Maturity age basically means your policy tenure. कितने साल की पॉलिसी आपने ली है, यानी कि if you are 30 right now or 25 right now, which is the average age of our session, then, and if you're taking say life cover for 30 years, then your maturity age is 55, or it's 35 years, then it's 60. Death benefit is usually the amount that you get. Usually a lot of policies have a rider in it, and rider is just a terms or condition that you'll get certain level of bonuses also at the end attached to whatever coverage that you have taken. Maturity benefit usually दूसरे type के life insurances में आपको मिलता है. And then there are two very important things. One is surrender value, one is paid up value. So surrender value का क्या मतलब होता है? That after paying insurance, say for around 3 or 4 years, the premium for 3 or 4 years, you suddenly decide that, you know, probably this is not the best insurance that I had, or, you know, I suddenly don't feel that I need a life insurance, which again, I would strongly advise against. Let's discontinue this policy. So some of the life insurance policies start accruing a surrender value. So कहने का मतलब ये है कि usually life insurance policies में you have a commitment of 25, 30, 20, some huge long-term commitments. And you start paying off the premiums 1 year, 2 year, 3, 4, 5. And by the 5th year, when you say, you know, I don't think this relationship is working out, then at that breaking point, what is the insurance company going to pay you? It's usually less than the amount of premiums that you have paid. But if you decide to do it, you might get a surrender value out of it. Then there is paid up value. So some of the policies have this clause that if you're not capable of paying any more premiums, say after 4 or 5 years, they are going to reconstruct your policy in such a way कि say probably आपने 25,000 annually देके एक 2 करोड़ का या 2 CR का policy लिया था, and but after 5 years, after paying, and you had to pay insurance say for 20 years, but after 5 years you're not able to pay anymore, then what they do is they kind of, not proportionately, but they reconstruct the policy in such a way that your cover kind of reduces and all the benefits kind of reduces commensurate to the amount that you have paid. So they think that you have paid 1.25 lakhs, which is 25,000 into 5, and now 1.25 लाख में आपको कितना कवर मिल सकता है, they kind of reformulate the policy according to that. So that is basically the paid up value of your policy. Last is the revival period. ये ज़्यादा use में आता नहीं है, but this is like the आखिरी मौका. So when you are paying your premiums nowadays, what we do is we have like an auto checkout from our bank every month where we are paying premiums to the company automatically. But if you're not doing that and you're paying probably an annual or a lump sum amount or ऐसा कोई standing instruction you don't have from your bank that pay it automatically, then there are times that you might miss paying your premium. So they usually give you a grace period of 15 to 30 days. But if you miss even after that, certain policies have clauses that, if you suddenly feel like after 2 years, no, now I have the money and I think I made a very bad decision that time discontinuing this policy, can I revive it? Then they usually allow you to revive that. But it's very, very, it's not all policies have this. So these are some of the jargons probably which are going to come into use later also. Not all of them. Sum assured definitely आएगा. Sum assured is basically coverage. Riders probably आ सकते हैं, and benefits and all. I think I'll try to keep it very, very colloquial. I'll try not to use a lot of jargons. So yeah. Yeah. So what is life insurance basically? Again, not an investment instrument, guys. Should not be treated as one. Try to not see into the returns. Although endowment still happens to be my dad's favorite. I don't know why, but yeah, I'll have this discussion with him as well. So 3 major type of insurance policies that you're mostly going to see if you try to search for it online or if you go to an agent and stuff like that. One is endowment policy. Big word. Basically means you get something at the end, either as a lump sum amount or per month. So endowment and ULIPs, these are such type of plans जिसके end में आपको कुछ मिलता है. Your amount paid as premium plus returns. Now there might be 50 other types of policy basis the distribution कि एक साथ में मिल रहा है या हर महीने मिल रहा है, annuity है या monthly है या lump sum है या क्या है. I don't think that is necessary in a big way to understand कि policy क्या है. I mean, that is a very simple choice that that you will be able to understand. But major 3 types of policies: endowment, term plan, and ULIPs. Endowment is basically you keep on paying premiums for a certain amount of time, say 20 years, 25 years. The lock-in is your entire premium term. जब तक premium term, which is usually 15, 20 years or something, till the time you don't finish it, you have to stay committed to the policy. It's marriage, guys. It's marriage. So you keep on paying the premium, you keep on paying the premium. And if you survive the entire premium term, you get certain returns in addition to the amount of coverage that you had taken. And it gives you both coverage on your life as well as a return at the end of the policy period. So say for example, 20 साल की policy ली, हर साल 10-10 हजार रुपए डाले. So at the end of 20 years, you're probably going to get annualized returns of those 10,000, which is usually 5 to 6-ish%, and plus your 2 lakh rupees. And for these 20 years, you're also going to have a life cover. And it usually falls in the bracket where you get an exemption under ATC. For guys who don't know about ATC or are starting to plan out, again, Vaibhav, me and Yashwant will cover this in depth when we are discussing your salary slip and everything. But usually, Indian government and governments across give you certain sort of tax benefits if you save certain amount of your money and invest them in financial instruments. So this is one of those instruments. Usually इसकी working कैसे होती है कि it's a guaranteed plan, guys. Like at the end of the period that you have taken the policy for, आपको जितना promise किया गया था return मिलने वाला है उतना मिलेगा ही. The reason behind this is that most of the investment from here is actually put into debt funds. और debt का मतलब होता है basically loan funds. मतलब they have a fixed amount of interest. So उसमें risk बहुत कम होता है. and you get that guaranteed returns at the end of your maturity. So that is endowment basically. Next comes the term plan. So term plan is just an umbrella over your head and your family's head, guys. If something not in your control, or something like a demise, or a disability or an accident happens to you, and the returns are just life cover, and probably the returns are actually accruing to the nominee, your favorite member of the family. Your lock-in is your entire premium term, and again you get a tax benefit here under 80C. Out of these three types of insurances, term plans premium is the lowest, and nowadays you get term plans till the age of 85 years. So that's quite exhaustive considering the pollution and the pandemic levels that are going on around. But this is a plan जिसके ऊपर last example based था, the premium amount and everything, the cover and all of that. So what the cover that I was talking about of 1.5 crore that Mr. Mittar will need, or probably you guys would need, is 15 times of your annual salary, and this is the annual the term plan that I was talking about. I know a lot of you guys asked about ULIPs, and they were the darlings of the industry in 2011, when everybody was buying ULIPs, and this was a new instrument on the block, not very old actually, and very interesting concept. So ULIP basically stands for Unit Linked Insurance Plans. The first thing that I mentioned kind of goes contrary to what I said. It's an investment cum insurance plan, guys. So isme usually what happens is that the amount of premiums that you pay is accumulated and invested in shares and bonds. Excuse me, sorry. So it's invested in shares and bonds. You get to make the choice of whether you want the premiums that you're paying to get invested in shares or bonds, or what sort of an instruments. It can be hybrid instruments also, like a combination of shares and bonds. इनका returns, sorry, इनके returns usually endowment plans से higher होते हैं. But again, as we discussed in the last class, risk and reward are related in such a way that more the risk, more the reward. And in this case also, ये linked word जहाँ पे भी आता है, always think that it is linked to the market. So at the time of maturity of this insurance, say 20 years down the line, market का जो situation रहेगा, whatever situation the market is in, if it is like 30% growth from today on a even on a simple average level, then your sum assured and your fund NAV, basically the value of your premiums would have gone at a 30% growth rate, which is like massive. But we usually see that ULIPs give a return of 7 to 9%. But in the contrary case, कि जिस साल ही आपकी policy mature होनी है, say in the year 2045, if that year is the year of depression or the year of recession or whatever the case might be, your fund value might get reduced to 30 or 40% of its original value also. So us time when you need money very urgently, and it's probably one of the top priorities that you have, you might not have it. So that is a risk involved with ULIPs. Because it does not offer any capital protection per se. Again, इसके केस में भी आप जितना प्रीमियम एनुअली भरते हो उसका 10 times is the sum assured that you get. Add a little bit of bonus and all of that into it, but most of it is that only. So again, it gives you a tax benefit. If you do any sort of investment in these, you get a tax benefit under 80C, and it has a minimum lock-in period of 5 years. Like you can buy a ULIP for 5 years as well, and it goes up to 30 years. So So Suyog, the reasons of death covered in life insurance may vary from policy to policy. There are different kind of yeah, I was just about to cover, Jagdish. So there are different type of riders which are attached to all of these policy. One of the most popular ones is the critical illness cover, which we also advise to kind of attach with your life insurance plan also. क्योंकि उस केस में क्या होता है कि there are certain defined critical illnesses that are there on the policy, and if you are kind of diagnosed with any of those critical illnesses, a lot of these policy offer you the entire amount that you had uh, covered for. So say for example, if you had taken a 50 lakh policy and you had like critical illness rider attached to it, and unfortunately you get diagnosed with that, they pay you the entire amount upfront. So that is one of the most popular and most advisable riders that we usually take with a term plan. And in addition to that, there are so many permutations and combinations of these riders, but it's advisable that you primarily go with the critical illness part. You might also want to take accidental and disability cover, but that's pretty much it. Uske aage, it's a lot of dressing and a lot of other things that you might not want to think about. I mean, if you're starting at a basic level, I think a term plan plus a basic critical illness rider should do you good. On what age it is advisable to take term insurance? वही जो मैंने बोला, Mr. Nagapan, is till the time if you're planning to retire at the age of 60, so say for example, or if you think your children are already going to become very okay, you're talking especially about term insurance, so it depends upon you technically. Again, it's available till 85 years. If you think your retirement planning आपकी बहुत जबरदस्त है, and at the end of 65 you'll have sufficient retirement plan to, like, chill for the rest 15-20 years of your life, and even your children are not going to be dependent upon you in terms of any big corpus or money coming in, then you can take it till 60-65. But if you want like a very exhaustive and extensive cover till 85 years, so that you always have parents have this mentality that even if I'm 85 years old and if there is something that is happening to me, the kid should get something. If you're coming from that lens, then probably you can take a longer term plan. But usually 60-65 के बाद आपका retirement वाला funds kick in हो जाता है, then you don't technically need it. So
sorry Rahul, just wanted to add one more point to answer Mr. Nagapan's question.
Sure.
So while it is advisable to take a term life cover till the age of 60 or 65 or 70, depending on your personal choice, there is a permutation combination in which you can decide till what age you want to pay the premium, point number one, and till what age you want the cover to remain there. So for instance, after the age of 60, you know that you won't be earning money, right? But you want to have the cover till the age of 85. So when you take the term insurance policy, you can decide these 2 points, that I will pay premium only till the age of 60, but my cover should remain till the age of 85. So those kind of permutation combinations can also be done, can also be chosen by you. Of course, the premium value will increase slightly in this case, but that is also one option available to you. Yeah, Rahul, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Yashwant. So I'll take one last question very quickly. How does the fund manager allocate the shares in ULIP? Do they invest in why? Okay, I'll take your question also, Lucky. Just why do they invest in Inigo as they get the premium, or they take few and invest in different time for ULIP? Oh, okay. Yeah. So already, whichever fund house or whichever insurance company it is, usually it will have its own kind of mutual fund or probably its own investment arm, which again will have a predefined set of bucket of equities or debt or hybrid or balanced fund that they would have already created. And you will get an option to choose ki where do you want to invest. They will have 3 or 4 different versions of the same ULIP. If you say, no, I just want to be really safe and invest in debt portfolio, then then I would invest. Then they would invest only in debt portfolio. Just a couple of more points on ULIP, guys. कि ULIP also gives you the option to switch your portfolio. पहले इसमें बहुत charges हुआ करते थे, which used to eat away into your returns, but आजकल उतने charges नहीं हैं. In fact, है ही नहीं. So if you have that level of financial prudence that you're able to track the market, and after a certain point in time you say, no, please just switch me over from equity to debt, you have that option as well. And to answer the second part of your question, Rini, yes, they invest in different times. These are huge fund houses with upwards of triple digit crores of money, and like every year also like tons and tons of money coming in. So they invest in different times. They would usually give you a monthly / weekly / fortnightly portfolio report on your email, and you can take a look कि कहाँ पैसा invested है. Lucky, why to take a term plan? Next slide में आ रहा है. And Harshal, what if an insurance provider goes bankrupt? ये भी next slide में आ रहा है. So Mukul, can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, ULIP or not ULIP, whether to ULIP enough or not to ULIP enough. That's true. So again, to give you an example, and this is going to answer probably all three of your questions, Lucky, Harshal, and 1+7. I think I'm going to remember this name for a very long time. So yeah, so say for example, ULIP or not ULIP का question अगर हम answer करने जाते हैं, तो same example लेते हैं. Pradosh Mitter has come back from 2 slides and his income has still not increased over the passage. तो वही है 10 lakhs, monthly expense 30 and annual savings 1,20,000. उन्होंने पिछले ही स्लाइड में डिसाइफर किया था कि उनको 1.5 करोड़ का इंश्योरेंस चाहिए. So if you go to different websites and check, averaging out 20-25,000 ka annual premium is what it comes out to get a term plan for 1.5 crores, which is like 2,000 rupees se kam monthly. So that is what a term plan gives you. 20,000 rupees annually. If you pay for the next 10-15 years, you get a cover. You can get an extended cover for 30 years or so. And if anything is supposed to happen, God forbid, to you, your family instantly gets that 1.5 crore so that they can continue living their life the way they have been. Similarly, ULIP के case में क्या होता है that as I told you, the sum assured is usually 10 times the annual premium. So अगर आप 20,000 का annual premium भर रहे हो, तो ULIP will give you a cover of only 2 lakh. So which is nothing technically. So then you start thinking it from a reverse angle, that what if I have 10,000 rupees to spare every month? So technically say annual savings मेरा 120 है, let's just all invest it in ULIP only. So 1,20,000 अगर आप ULIP में invest करते हो, you will still get a cover of 12 lakhs only. Is that cover enough? No, it is not. And then you will say कि नहीं, but 1,20,000 invest कर रहे हैं तो last में मिल भी तो रहा है कुछ. Even if you consider a 10% return, guys, I have done this calculation in Excel itself. Even if you consider a 10% return on 1,20,000 for the next 20 years, it's not going to reach 1.5 crores. Like nowhere close also. Probably 20-25 lakhs, but nothing more than that. So you're going to literally fall short of your plan of 1.5 CR cover that you want to provide to your family. And at the end of the day, ULIP में again 25 years का policy आप ले रहे हो, usually it is seen कि हर 8 साल, again depending upon different views of economists and everything, 8 साल, 6 साल, 10 साल, 12 साल, उसमें एक ना एक recession, depression का cycle आता ही है. Recession mostly, not depression, आता ही है. So what if that 25th year is the year of your recession and your value of ULIP suddenly goes down in the drain completely? That you would not want that for your family, right? So that level of risk is always hanging large on your head, that it's market linked. What is going to happen if there is no guarantee? So life insurance is, it's a package where you should not have to worry about anything. So यहाँ पे हम सबसे ज़्यादा guarantee, सबसे ज़्यादा risk averseness, सबसे ज़्यादा risk mitigation देखते हैं कि bro risk लेना ही नहीं है किसी भी रूप में. I would not want to touch risk anywhere, and ULIP kind of does that. So Rather than that, why not invest say 20,000 in your term plan and invest the remaining 1 lakh into mutual funds? I mean, don't consider mutual funds right now in the current scenario. This was unexpected. But historically, अगर आप average returns या rolling returns किसी भी time पे mutual funds अगर आप ठीक से choose करते हैं, and I am sure Yashwant, Vaibhav, and we are going to discuss how to choose ठीक से, their returns are always going to outweigh the returns of ULIPs. They're always going to be 11, 12, 13% on an average. At least that's what they have been. So that is going to give you in the end much more financial stability, because 1.5 करोड़ का कवर भी रह गया मेरे पास 20,000 रुपए देके, और बाकी मेरी जो एनुअल सेविंग्स बची 1 लाख वो मैंने म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, और उससे जो 12% रिटर्न आया ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ 20-30 years, that has made me supremely confident about my retirement planning. So I hope this is clear. I'll just take a quick look at the questions. Why take term plan? Why not endowment? Harshal, we will talk in great lengths about PPF, and we'll compare all of this together when everybody has an idea about everything, and then we can kind of make a chart and see कि इसकी जगह ये क्यों नहीं, इसकी जगह वो क्यों नहीं. वो asset allocation वाला हम आराम से last में कर लेंगे. So I'll get back to your question. And what, I'll just take a look at the questions really quick before moving ahead. What if an insurance provider goes bankrupt? Okay. All right. What if we compare endowment term plan? Endowment seems more beneficial. Okay. I saw a lot of insurance are not covering coronavirus death. Okay. Why? All right. Yeah. So, because you, sorry, iPhone, just answering your question real quick, because you don't have any level of commitment to mutual funds, right? So say, for example, if this down cycle comes, there is sure that there is an up cycle somewhere in the future. The time frame might vary depending upon what condition our country is in today, but आपका कोई commitment नहीं है. You might not put more money into it. You might keep it as cash or put it in FD, but you don't necessarily have a commitment. For ULIPs and endowment, आपको पैसे देते रहने पड़ेंगे if you want a cover. Otherwise, it's lapsing and you get down to your surrender value and stuff. So, okay, that is the main difference, the liquidity and the lock-in kind of thing. And sorry, I again have to go back to the question. Yeah, so I'll take the endowment wala question and the insurance provider wala question together. So endowment, again, is a plan that kind of matches to your risk ability and willingness. A lot of people will be very extreme about it कि अरे बहुत बेकार है, लेने नहीं चाहिए, 5-6% टैक्स के बाद तो कुछ बचेगा ही नहीं इसमें. But again, it entirely depends upon your risk ability and willingness. If your risk ability is less and you want to invest in FD like instruments, आपको liquidity का उतना ज़्यादा problem नहीं है. You are okay in investment for the next 20 years, slow, patience, and that kind of, and उसके addition में थोड़ा सा 5-10 लाख रुपए का अगर life cover भी मिल जाता है, if you are happy with all of these scenarios, you may well go for it. It's not that it's not advisable. I mean, it's totally up to your willingness and ability. Again, if all of these factors kind of make sense to you, there are certain advantages of endowment funds also, because the prime kind of mandate that is given to the endowment kind of fund managers is that, dude, I need a guarantee and a risk-free return. You can rest assured that, you know, your fund and your money is going to be well managed, and of course you're going to get your guaranteed returns. So that is one. And if you don't want a lot of, you know, financial kind of rejigging happening in your life, and you want to just invest in one time and then just don't think about it कि बस हर साल investment करते गए कुछ तो मिल रहा है, चलो पैसे तो नहीं घट रहे हैं, capital depreciation तो नहीं हो रहा है. If that sort of profile suits you, you may well go for endowment. Not bad. Coming back to if an insurance broker, if an insurance company goes bust, yeah. So for that, let's get on to something different. So now let's talk about choosing a life insurance policy. It's usually advisable. So before I get into that, IRDA is something that is very important. It's the regulator that kind of regulates the insurance policies and premiums and everything around insurances is governed by IRDA. It's the development and the regulatory authority, just like SEBI is for stocks and everything, and stocks and derivatives and all of that. So IRDA does not sell insurance. It's just managing how people are conducting their insurance businesses. So उनकी एक report आती है हर साल, the IRDA annual report. If you look at the IRDA annual report, you are going to see a whole lot of information. It's a huge report, 200 pages, guys. Very boring read, but just look for 2 or 3 key factors there. 2-3 qualitative, 2-3 quantitative. Qualitative में usually see कि how long the bank has been in business. How long has the insurance company been in business? It is usually said that if an insurance company has its own banking arm, that insurance company is slightly more preferable for risk-averse people. The reason behind it is that private insurance providers के offices might be a little scarce. Depending upon where you are, you don't know कि nearest office कहाँ हो. How often do you have to go there? Usually you don't, because they pay up. But if there is a bank, I mean, bank branches are always going to outweigh the insurance offices, right? And going ahead, when everything is turning into digital, they might close down a few branches. So qualitatively, it's usually preferred that आप एक bank associated insurance provider choose करिए. The second qualitative point that you should look at is how big is that insurance provider. Reason being, कि insurance premiums are usually a very complex kind of calculation. Like if you go and type in some random names and try to see an insurance quote, आप देखोगे differences हैं across different insurance providers. And if you read the fine print, you will probably understand क्योंकि इसमें ये included है, इसमें ये included नहीं है. But they have their actuarial team. It's a specialized study where everybody just calculates insurance premiums. So for that, so that differs from investment house, insurance house to insurance house. So usually आप देखो कि कितना बड़ा insurance house है. अगर वो बहुत छोटा insurance house है, and tomorrow it gets merged or combined with another insurance house, then their employees and their staff are kind of going to recalculate everything, and then you might be in a fix कि no, certain things are getting restructured, your policy is getting restructured and all of that. So try and go for the top 5 or 6 names in bank associated like HDFC, Ergo. Yeah, sure, why not? So top 5 and 6 names in the business. तो ये तो क्वालिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट हो गया. क्वांटिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट में ये देखिए कि क्लेम रेशियो फुलफिलमेंट कितना है उनका, वो IRDA के एनुअल रिपोर्ट में आपको मिल जाएगा. आप यूजुअली देखोगे टॉप 5 and 6 प्लेयर्स जो भी हैं, बीट LIC, HDFC, ICICI के सारे, SBI लाइफ के सारे, ये सब usually they are 95% average or above. So just check that. If all of these conditions kind of satisfy, you can kind of go ahead. India first, actually, their claim ratio is not so amazing. You might want to check the IRDA report. LIC versus private companies, their premiums are usually higher, guys. The reason behind this is, and this is like a thing, is that LIC has a sovereign guarantee. And by sovereign guarantee का मतलब होता है कि अगर आपके प्रीमियम्स को कुछ भी हुआ कि LIC आपको पैसे नहीं दे पाई, तो गवर्नमेंट आपको पैसे दे पाएगी. Government is liable to pay you back your premiums. But guys, remember this, in today's scenario, LIC has got more money than the government. So if LIC goes bust, bad times, definitely not अच्छे दिन. So while choosing a vendor, keep all of 2 qualitative points कि बैंक associated है या नहीं, और कितना बड़ा player है, and in terms of सॉरी क्वांटिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट में क्लेम रेशियो कितना अच्छा है, एंड द सेकंड थिंग दैट यू चेक इज कि उनकी ईयर ऑन ईयर ग्रोथ कैसी रही है. आर मोर पीपल काइंड ऑफ फ्लॉकिंग इनटू द कंपनी, देन दैट मींस कि ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड अच्छा है, एजेंट्स अच्छे हैं, एंड दे हैव बीन एबल टू मेक गुड their promises. So that is how you choose it. There is another question that kind of gets asked a lot is कि digital लेना चाहिए या agent के पास जाना चाहिए या कैसा करना चाहिए. This is very subjective, guys. मतलब a lot of people again would be very extreme on this कि no, मतलब digital is the way to go क्योंकि premium कम होते हैं, and I mean I am tech savvy and computer savvy, so why not? Like and probably my next generation is going to be tech savvy, so why not? We are going to discuss about that in detail, but I'll just touch upon that point. If you're taking a term plan, right, आप usually जाके check करोगे तो agents versus online में आपको एक sizable difference दिखाई देगा in terms of the premiums that they are quoting, because there is a commission involved, obviously. And term plan is like usually a very straight up plan. They ask you a couple of questions, and if you don't kind of mislead them on that you know, I'm a pseudo smoker, matlab when I drink I smoke and all of that. So if you like give them proper information, your term plan is good. So term plans are usually advisable to be bought digitally only. As far as endowment or ULIPs are concerned, agents actually are not very bad depending upon yeah, just like MF regular or direct, but MF is a little different. Yeah, MF is very liquid, so थोड़ा different हो जाता है कि insurance policy में there might be some certain changes and certain claims in terms of, you know, so say for example if it's endowment, there are still a little some companies मतलब जो, sorry I don't want to name them, like governmental companies that would want to do a final check. Say endowment, what is the concept of endowment? कि अगर 20 years का policy लिया and you survive after 20 years, you get everything like पैसा, bonus and sum assured and everything. So there will be a certain person who's going to come and visit your house and check it. And considering that the average age of this population is 25, you're going to be switching jobs, moving from one city to another. So where you're going to be, nobody knows. So उस case में agent थोड़ा काम आता है. Like he's going to say, you know, let's just change the address. Let's talk to somebody in the company. Let's try to get your claim fatafat. So that kind of pans out both in case of endowment and ULIPs. Term plan के लिए also to some extent, but they require some very basic paperwork. I'll not get into that gory stuff, but they require some very basic paper documentation which you can easily provide after, say, the demise of the concerned person. So endowment and ULIPs के लिए suggestible that talk to an agent, and if you can really trust him, there's no harm in going with like choose your own policy. Of course, don't go with what he's saying, because he's going to give you the first policy that gives him the maximum commission. अपना choice करके जाइए, but if you want to go through him, you may. I am not very extreme in terms of my ideologies there. Term insurance के लिए, I would suggest you can take it online. It's pretty simple, and the difference in premium is quite a lot. I think it's quite a lot compared to your endowment and ULIPs. All right, guys, life insurance secured. I'll just take a final look at the question. I'm running greatly over time. So I hope, I don't know how up should I go. So yeah, analysis of LIC private companies. You might want to take a look. I mean, I can do that and send you separately, but not a lot of difference. Usually premiums are higher, both because of difference in actuarial offices, brand names, and sovereign guarantees and stuff. But the finer print might vary between different plans, but average out करेंगे तो ज़्यादा deviation नहीं आएगा. You can go with private players, guys. Their market share is increasing. You can check the last IRDA report. They also have a very professional and bright set of people working for them. Is it advisable to take multiple term insurances? Let me answer it differently. So if your expenses and your life goals kind of change, अभी तक हम जितनी भी बात कर रहे थे, we had kept all the kind of variables fixed. But if in the course of 5, 10, 15 years, usually it is advisable every 5 years or so, or probably if you're very prudent, then every year. If you think there is a massive change in your goals, ki additional expenses बढ़ गए हैं. So say for example there is an additional kid who wants to go out and do his kind of education from abroad. You might want to add that in the total cover required and all of that. And nowadays you even get uh, term plans where you have an option of increasing your cover by 5, 10, 15% every year. So multiple term insurance लेने की जगह आप एक वो ले लो कि हर साल 5% year on year बढ़ जाए. Higher the claim ratio the better. Yes, higher the claim ratio the better. What if I want to use the sum assured for myself after purchasing? What if I want to use the sum assured for myself after purchasing term plan? Lucky, sum assured means आपने जितने का coverage लिया है. So if you say that I want a 10 lakh का cover, then that cover is for you only. You just pay say 5,000 का premium for it, so that कुछ होने पे 10 लाख रुपए मिल जाए term insurance के केस में. I think you are only going to use it. You might probably want to rephrase that question.
Rahul, just one more point regarding this claim ratio wala question जो था.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, higher the claim ratio, it is always better. But you need to be careful about the fact that ratio is just a number. Okay? If you visit the IRDA website, you will find that there are a lot of smaller players which have a good settlement ratio.
Right, I forgot
towards
that.
the likes of HDFC, ICICI, etc. Okay, but the average amount of settlement that they are doing is a very small amount. For instance, they'll be normally settling averages of claims of averaging about 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs, but your policy is of 2 crores. So you are not really sure how the behavior would be when that kind of a policy is settled. So you need to take a mix where the average settlement amount is also high, and definitely the claim amount should also, the claim ratio should also be high.
या सो वो टेबल जहां पे आपको दिया हुआ रहेगा ना कि क्लेम रेशियो इतना है, उसके बगल में दिया रहेगा कि नंबर ऑफ क्लेम्स भी कितने हैं. सो इफ आई जस्ट हैव 50 claims in a year and I'm kind of satisfying them, that's good because I'm doing a good job, versus and I have like a 99% claim ratio, that's great, but I would still prefer a company that has like 15,000 claims in a year and it's satisfying 97% of it, because it's satisfying a larger number and probably a higher sum. And lucky, I think what if I want to use the sum assured for myself after purchasing term plan was mentioned. Money coverage will be done only after my day. The term plan में आप कुछ use नहीं कर पाओगे lucky. If you want to like not continue with the term plan, उसमें surrender value का option नहीं होता है. You don't get anything, your premiums lapse. So that is the case. And I mean, term plan does not give you anything at the end, right? I mean, until and unless there is a demise, you don't get anything in term plan. That's why उसके premiums भी इतने कम है. I hope that answers. So Mukul, can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So yeah, the second very important pillar, and guys, I cannot actually emphasize enough on medical health insurance. And in these times, actually, and sorry, you guys asked a lot of questions that why they are not covering coronavirus. So usually, एक बहुत ही basic life and term plan में क्या होता है कि death caused by natural calamities and death caused by pandemics and all of that ना, ये 4-5 चीजें होती हैं जो कि specifically barred रहती हैं. You have a different kind of a plan with very little premium, probably $500 or less than that, for these specific type of deaths. You can take that, but I mean, it's a very personal choice. That's why coronavirus has not been covered there. But they also have like an 80-20 rule, right? Like 80% of deaths जिसके लिए covered होते हैं, what people are looking for. If that is kind of there in the policy, people tend to take it. So that's the logic behind it. Medical insurance, guys, yes, very important. I was just coughing, but yeah. Again, I think some of you guys might have thought about it sometime or the other. A lot of you guys who are students and are eventually going to start your jobs in some time will mandatorily get a group medical insurance from your employer. Until and unless you want to get out of that company as the CEO in the next 20 years, or you have terrific level of confidence in your genes that you're not going to fall sick uh, while you're working, sorry, after you're working, or like you're going to switch jobs, it is very advisable to have a health insurance plan of your own than what the company provides. Uh, let's just take a very logical and current example right now. I have seen thousands of students right now who are suffering and are not finding jobs because of the pandemic. This is just one of the causes. There might be hundreds and thousands more, which kind of causes the unemployment rate to rise, which causes, even when you're switching jobs between one company to other, there might be certain gestation period. So आज के डिस्कशन में हम वही बातें कर रहे हैं कि किसी भी तरह से कोई unexpected eventuality should not eat away into my financial brilliance, basically. So that's all we are talking about. So I'm sure that the company provides you a decent enough group plan, but ये group plan होता है usually 500,000 people, and these are not very exhaustive per se. So have a personal plan. It's highly recommendable, but I mean, again, up to your choice. So the three major types of medical insurance: critical illness cover. So this is like a defined plan कि ये set of critical illnesses अगर आपको होते हैं, then only the insurance comes into force. It's usually, I talked about it in life insurance also. It can be bought as a rider with the life insurance also, and it is advisable to be bought as a life insurance ka rider because the premium is very little, probably again $500-700 a year, and it offers, I mean, some of the policies even offer you to pay the entire amount that you have covered for in advance once you get diagnosed with something unfortunate as a critical illness. Critical illness का definition क्या होता है? Usually varies, but these are those illnesses basically where your bill rakes up by more than 5 lakhs. Probably, I mean, that's a very colloquial way of saying it, but usually बहुत बड़े वाले, मतलब kidney related, cancer related, and like huge heart transplants and all of that. So you can get a 3-year critical illness cover at a go, but usually medical insurance plans क्या होते हैं, वो 1 साल के लिए होते हैं बस. Every year you have to kind of renew it, but every year the policy kind of ends. It just considers 1 year ka operations and everything. After that it kind of lapses, and you have to kind of do it all over again. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of very practical advice in terms of medical insurance. IRDA usually has a regulation. Okay, sorry, I'll talk about it probably in the next slide. Sorry, yeah. So yeah, critical illness cover period is chosen by you. It can be 1, 2, or 3 years maximum. Advisable by default नहीं actually, sorry, ये by choice है, and premium is constant for medical insurance over the period of time. For 3 years basically, but all the other health insurances, your premium changes. I mean, obviously your age factor comes into play, and your premium is dynamic year over year. बहुत ज़्यादा change नहीं होता, but होता है. मतलब after you cross certain thresholds, it kind of changes. So critical illness, very defined. Individual healthcare is your basic classic Mediclaim plan, where if you get certain sort of illnesses and you get admitted to a hospital and you receive certain treatment, you get indemnified or reimbursed by the provider. Group plan, company wala ho gaya. Family floater plan is a very interesting plan. So आपने अगर individual insurance लिया, if you are a bachelor and you know you're not foreseeing a marriage or anything for the next say 3-5 years or so, or I would say less than 3 years or so, then you can take an individual plan, and it's pretty exhaustive. And if you don't claim anything, and this is there in both individual and family floater and group also, that say for example you did a Mediclaim or a health insurance policy for this year, but आपको कुछ नहीं हुआ, thankfully. And so what happens next year is that because you did not claim anything out of this policy, you get a bonus. 5%, 7%, something like that. So if you are paying a premium for 5 lakh next year, your insurance policy automatically becomes 525. And if you don't claim anything that year as well, it kind of increases slowly by slowly. So if you're with the same insurance provider for say 7 to 10 years, जितने का आप प्रीमियम भर रहे हो उससे काफी ज्यादा हो चुका होता है आपका कवर. इंडिविजुअल में सिंस आप अपने लिए इंश्योरेंस ले रहे हो या कोई आपके लिए इंश्योरेंस ले रहा है, ओनली यू आर कवर्ड फॉर दैट एंटायर ईयर. And say for example, if you take a 5 lakh insurance, up to 5 lakh, if you have medical expenses and all of them kind of fall into the criteria, then the provider kind of reimburses you. Family floater plan. For people that are with family, spouses and kids and all, you can take a floater plan. How does a floater plan work is that you and your wife can jointly take a cover of 5 lakhs. Okay? For an entire year. Now, if you have a family of 2 and you're taking a cover of 5 lakh, this is like the cumulative cover that you might have. So unfortunately, if both of you get sick in a same year, the maximum coverage is 5 lakh combined for the both of you. But the chances of that happening are very, very low. And इसका प्रीमियम स्लाइटली कम हो जाता है, बिकॉज अगर आप 2 इंडिविजुअल पॉलिसीज 5-5 लाख के लोगे, then it's a total cover of 10 lakh. So the premium is slightly higher. In case of floater, the premium slightly decreases. You even have the option of structuring the cover for each and every person in your family. So for example, if there are 4 members, 2 kids and 2 adults, जो primary person है उसका max आपको रखना पड़ेगा, which is 5 lakhs. And then you can have like a 5 lakh for your wife and probably a 2 lakh for your kids if they are very, very small. But the total cover remains 5 lakhs only for the entire year. But again, as I said, the probability that the entire family kind of gets sick is very, very low. So that kind of suffices in a lot of ways. Okay, so these are the different types of family floater group plan. Usually family floater plan में अपने parents को include करना is very difficult. I checked. I did not think that the great companies that kind of do the medical insurance and health insurance allow you to include dependent parents and all. You can include it, and even your employer might give you an option, but how do they include it is that they open a separate floater for your parents. They are not in the same floater, but in a different floater, like 2 different boats. And the moment you include your parents who are at a certain age, say 50, 55 plus, the premium kind of explodes drastically. So, I mean, they can structure it in different ways, but it's not usually in the same floater plan. Okay, and your parents need this much more than you do. So have an adequate amount of health insurance. It's usually advisable that have like a 5 lakh insurance for your parents. If they already have it, don't let them discontinue it, even if they are like 60 plus or something. It's very vital. Please keep on paying the dividends. Yeah. Can we move on to the next slide? I'll answer your question, Devish. So usually colloquially बोला जाता है कि medical insurance, you know, it's actually a kind of investment, and I'll tell you how. It's an investment into your own well-being, but it only yields after 3 years. So how the concept works is that अगर आपका कोई pre-existing condition है, in terms of you're already having say high sugar, blood pressure or something like that, IRDA kind of says that for the first 36 months, and if you buy a health insurance, for the first 36 months, we are not going to cover you. You have to pay premium, but we are not going to cover you. But 36 months के बाद, I will start reimbursing you for your existing conditions as well, like pre-existing conditions as well. So it's an investment that yields only after 3 years. And they will obviously make you get a test and all of that, but it yields after 3 years only. And just in case if you are not very happy with the provider and you want to switch from one insurance provider to the other, अगर आप 3 साल के पहले करते हो तो ये जो आपकी प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन है ये नया वाला इंश्योरेंस प्रोवाइडर नहीं कंसिडर करता है. बट इफ यू change your insurance provider after 3 years, this 3-year kind of condition gets covered. So new insurance provider will have to provide you coverage on your existing condition only, because you have already paid premium to a different insurance provider and you have waited 3 years for that, and you've probably shifted because he was not providing you the level of service that you wanted. ठीक है, so ये 3-year concept याद रखिएगा. I'll just, sorry, Yashwant, you want to pitch in?
Rahul, just one more point.
Yeah.
Rahul covered a couple of minutes back, group insurance that companies generally offer to their employees, right? In most of the insurance policies, you will never have pre-existing illnesses covered up to 3 years, as Rahul mentioned. However, many companies offer insurance policies for parents, in-laws, and your family, wherein they cover pre-existing illnesses from day one. So if your employer is offering you an insurance policy which covers pre-existing illnesses from day one, it is absolutely essential that you take it, even if it is coming at a higher premium, especially in those cases where you foresee a hospitalization coming up for one of your parents or the other. In those situations, you need to look at it. So it is offered mostly only in case of employees,
right,
by the company.
Yeah, that's very specific. Yeah. Some of the banks which have an insurance arm, or some of the insurance which kind of has a banking arm, both ways, nationalized and like huge players, they offer certain benefits like these. But I mean, as Yashwant pointed out, these are specific to employees alone. So it's the same. I think, yeah, you can call it the same. Yeah, it's synonymous only. So yeah, things to look for when you're buying a medical insurance. Again, first thing, you need a healthcare plan which is sponsored by yourself. Just the group plan which is covered by your company, until unless you're an employee and you plan to stay there for a long time. I would suggest do take a cover for yourself. It's not very expensive. Probably comes the age that the average group is. It's going to come even lower than having a dinner for 2 or 3 in a posh restaurant. So do think about it, and also see that it's got basic standard coverage in terms of the illnesses and all, and the premiums are in line with the other big players. So a lot of medical and health insurance policies are differentiated basis city wise or an all India cover. So usually क्या होता है कि a lot of these insurance companies have a cashless facility. So they have collaboration, and you should look at that as well, that what is their cashless network. So they have collaboration with a lot of hospitals like big chains and all of that. Yeah, Bhavya, I'll explain that 3-year thing once more. Sure. So they have network of hospitals where if you go and if you show the documents and the diagnosis of the doctor from the hospital there, they have a separate department sitting out of there, and if you submit all the files, you don't have to pay anything. Like the entire treatment is cashless, and the insurance provider itself kind of provides everything. And guys, just a very thumb rule again here, आप कोई भी medical insurance या health insurance ले लो, although they have a coverage of 5 lakhs and all of that, but how the bill is itemized in a hospital and the kind of expenses that you undergo when you are undergoing a treatment, I can say this with confidence that you never get 100% of your bill. मतलब अगर आपका final bill 50,000 का आया है तो आपको $50,000 कभी नहीं मिलता है, but you get a good 70-80% out of it because of a lot of things. Probably medication limitation. Yeah, say for example, you go to the best of the hospitals where the room rent is 15,000 a night. It's like a suite, but your policy might just cover, say that I will just cover 5,000 tak per day. Uske upar I cannot cover because then you are kind of spending really lavishly. And there are certain. So another point here is the hospital room cap. So वो check करिए कि hospital room cap क्या है. अगर if certain policies don't have that, then it's a terrific policy. But there might be a lot of can we take a sample health insurance? We don't have that ready, Devesh, because I mean we'll have to divulge our own healthcare, but let us take that. I'll think about it. If we can send it out to you guys as a PowerPoint only, if you are comparing something, and these keep on changing. So if you put on snapshot, it kind of becomes that we are owning that. So I will think about it. Yeah, the room cap. So there are two types of room caps in these policies. Take a quick look at that. कई बार ये होता है कि they say that only if you're in a share room we are going to cover the room expenses. Don't go for that. Otherwise, it says that if you are hospitalized for 10 days or 5 days for that matter, the total amount of hospital room rent that or room cap that we'll have is say X, say 20,000, and per day ka cap is going to be 4,000. So if you're going to a hospital where the room rent is 6,000, then the differential 6 minus 4 you have to pay. हाँ, प्रीमियम लोअर एंड कवरेज पॉइंट का यही है कि आप स्टैंडर्ड 2-3 पॉलिसी एनालाइज कर लीजिए. यू कैन गिव योर डमी डिटेल्स एंड एनालाइज 2 or 3 policies. See if they have the basic coverage. Like if you're taking a rider of critical illness and if you're taking a basic healthcare plan also, just check what is included and what is not included. If you check 3 top insurance company providers and all of their inclusions and exclusions are more or less on the same path, then you can take a pick out of these 3. अगर किसी में कुछ बहुत मैसिव राइडर है, जैसे किसी में हॉस्पिटल रूम रेंट नहीं है या कवरेज या प्रीमियम में बहुत ज्यादा फ्लक्चुएशन दिख रही हो आपको कि देयर इज लाइक 2-3,000 का डिफरेंस एनुअली, देन यू कैन सी दैट okay, they are also paying up, their claim ratio is also high, and but their premiums are slightly lower, so you can go with that. I hope room cap was clear. So just check for room cap kitna hai kya hai, because if you're living in cities like Bombay, Delhi, yeah, you get claim ratio for everything, sir. Everything is now available on internet, and medical insurance company also have to publish their claim ratio. They even have to publish something called as incurred claim ratio. Incurred claim ratio is basically ki how much did I pay this year versus how much did I take in as premium. There might be companies like National Insurance and other like government kind of companies, nationalized companies, where incurred claim ratio is very high, because they are not for profit technically. So they are paying out more than what they're taking in as premiums. You can just see that as a fact, but like they have claim ratios as well. So yeah, check room rate, check what is the cashless network, claim settlement ratio kya hai, pre-existing conditions ka wait period kya hai, if it is like the nominal 3 year, or if you're an employee and if there isn't a pre-existing condition ka wait period, or if it is more than 3 years. In-house claim settlement, again, is pe na thoda divergent views hai. There are certain companies like Marsh which kind of settle your claims. Matlab, the moment you sign in and submit your claim documents, certain insurance companies have their own settlement department, so they'll look for it. But sometimes people say that they might have a little bit of vested interest in that it's a claim against our own company versus a third party. Yeah, they will. They will. So yeah, they will, Mr. Suyog, they will. I'll not hope for that, but they will. And yeah, so there are a lot of huge in-house claim settlement companies like Marsh and all. Again, terrific companies, have a very professional setup already. I mean, mostly you will find very little bad reviews about them. Yeah, you not included, but they also settle your claim faster. So claim settlement के साथ ही ये थोड़ा linked है, but check कर लीजिए कि उनका claim settlement कौन है, if it's in-house or if it's a third party. It's not a very big factor, but you might want to take that into consideration. Yeah, Yashwant, sorry, you want to add?
Yeah, that was good.
No, I think, yeah, the last concept that I want to touch upon is top up and super top up. So top up थोड़ा पुराना हो गया. It's basically the same concept, but A super top up plan is something very, very interesting. It's got its own pros and cons, but I'll still tell you about it. I mean, again, and leave it to your decision. Super top up plan is kind of a healthcare plan, and इसमें एक, sorry, I forgot to put the jargon in. There is a concept called as deductible. So say for example, if Yashwant today takes a 5 lakh ka super top up plan, then what it basically means is that if he undergoes a treatment in a year, in a particular year, which, or if he undergoes multiple treatments in a year, and if it costs him more than 5 lakh, तो 5 lakhs के ऊपर जितना भी खर्चा लगा होगा, up to a cap of whatever insurance you have taken as super top up, that this whatever the insurance company is going to bear. So say for example, and it is available both if you have a base policy and even if you don't have a base policy. So say for example, sorry Vaibhav and Yashwant, I'm taking your example. Huh? So if Yashwant has a base medical policy of 5 lakhs and Vaibhav doesn't, वैभव सोचते हैं कि ब्रो 5 लाख तक का अगर मुझे एक्सपेंस होता है साल में, आई टेक केयर ऑफ इट ऑन माय ओन, बट लेट मी टेक अ सुपर टॉप अप पॉलिसी दैट इफ एनीथिंग एक्सीड्स 5 lakhs then I am covered. And if he undergoes like a treatment which kind of costs 12 lakhs, then the additional 7 lakhs जो 5 के ऊपर लगा है, that the super top up policy will cover. और यशवंत के केस में सेम थिंग, बट जो बेस 5 lakhs लगा है वो भी उसकी बेस पॉलिसी कवर कर लेगी. These super top up plans are super cheap, but they have certain disadvantages. Like a 5 lakh or a 7 or a 10 lakh super top up plan would cost you less than 1,000 per year. But the only thing is that these are not cashless programs. Getting these claims is a little difficult than Mediclaims. They are a little difficult, and again, they are not cashless. But agar aap, an average hospital bills in India usually for usual treatments, critical illness not covered, don't land up to more than 5 lakh in a year. So you might explore that option as well, but again, it comes at $1,000 or so and has its own downsides in terms of getting that claims and getting your cashless facility not available. Cool guys. अच्छा, इस पे भी एक लास्ट टॉपिक में कवर कर देता हूँ, एंड दिस इज अ थॉट. टॉप अप एक्चुअली पुराना प्रोग्राम है हर्षल. सो टॉप अप क्या था बेसिकली कि अगर आपने 2 ट्रीटमेंट लिए होते साल में 2-2 लाख के, सॉरी 3-3 लाख के, जिसका टोटल साल के एंड में 6 लाख आ रहा है, देन द टॉप अप प्लान वुड हैव नॉट कवर्ड इट, क्योंकि वो बोलता कि आपने 5 लाख का डिडक्टेबल ले रखा था लेकिन आपके कोई भी इंडिविजुअल ट्रीटमेंट में 5 लाख से ज्यादा नहीं लगा, इट वाज लेस देन 5. तो थोड़ा उसको मॉडिफाई करके उसको रिटायर कर दिया लोगों ने, IRDA ने, और अब सुपर टॉप अप आ गया है कि अब अक्यूमुलेटेड लेवल पर देखेंगे एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर इफ इट्स मोर देन 5 lakhs द डिडक्टेबल अमाउंट, एंड इफ दैट हैपेंस देन या दे विल पे यू द एंटायर 1 lakh एडिशनल जो आपने खर्च किया. Sorry, somebody asked to explain the 3-year wala concept. I'll explain it really big. So healthcare plans usually start yielding after 3 years. का मतलब ये है कि usual healthcare plans में pre-existing conditions के लिए 3 साल का waiting period रहता है. If you're already suffering from a disease like diabetes or something like that, और आपको लगता है कि साल दर साल इसमें बहुत पैसे खर्च होने वाले हैं, तो let me take a insurance and a healthcare plan, you can take it. But the only caveat in that is the insurance company will say कि sir, next 3 साल के लिए we are not going to cover you for all the treatments that you bear in the hospital. But उसके बाद अगर कुछ होता है, then we can bear you. We'll include that, and whatever expense you incur owing to that pre-existing condition or the other condition mentioned in the plan, we'll cover you. So at least 3 साल तक आपको सेम इंश्योरेंस प्रोवाइडर के साथ रहना चाहिए. That is the objective. इससे एक और बेनिफिट ये होता है कि 3 साल के बाद अगर आप शिफ्ट करते हो किसी नए इंश्योरेंस प्रोवाइडर पे, तो वो आपसे वापस ये 3 साल की कंडीशन नहीं मांगता है. वो बोलता है कि नहीं, ओके नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट इट फ्रॉम 3 year ऑनवर्ड. सो अगर आपका कोई प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन है, आई विल स्टार्ट फुलफिलिंग claims around it from day 1 only. That's how usual healthcare policies work. Okay, so 80C में exemption नहीं आता है हर्षल, but 80D में आता है. 25,000 for individuals and 35,000 if you're including parents. Sorry, Yashwant, if I am not updated with the tax wale revisions, then please chip in.
So it is 25,000 individuals, as Rahul mentioned.
Yeah.
And which will include your critical illness cover as well. So that comes under, even if you're taking it with a term life plan, it will be covered under 80D and not 80C. And 25,000 for your dependents if they are below the age of 60, and 50,000 if they are above the age of 60. So not to worry, we'll cover all of these things in details in the last session. So since you had a question, we just answered it.
We have a lot to cover, guys. I have to move a little. So can we move on to the next slide? Mukul. So before that slide comes up, I'll just start on. So the last portion is the general insurance part, guys. We'll just kind of give you a flavor around it. Good to have, again, motor insurance. There is something called as house insurance now, and then there are all the others put together in one basket: your travel, commercial, crop, and all of that. I'm sure crop wala insurance की जरूरत अपने को इस session में नहीं पड़ेगी इस group में. So motor insurance again are of two types. One which is mandatory, so वो तो automatically आप लोग सब लेते ही हो. But the second one is something called as a comprehensive insurance, which is also called as a knock-to-knock insurance. So जो mandatory insurance होता है उसको third party insurance बोलते हैं, which basically means in very simple terms.
Slide change करना. Hi.
Sorry, Mukul, can you change the slide, please? Yeah. So third party insurance basically means कि आप गाड़ी लेके निकल रहे हो रोड पे, and we already know कि कैसे licenses मिल जाते हैं सबको. So the other people should be protected by how you are driving. So that's a third party insurance. Like if you cause damage to anybody else, they can get reimbursed because of the insurance that you have. That's a third party insurance. And comprehensive insurance आपकी खुद की गाड़ी और आपके लिए होता है. थोड़ा प्रीमियम इसका ज्यादा रहता है. It's calculated by what is the present value of the car, यानी कार कौन से year में है, and a whole lot of other things. They give you some discounts also, and then they kind of formulate it. So guys who want to buy a car, it's usually in the range of 25-30,000 for a hatchback and a sedan of like a mid-range category. So please keep that in mind also when you're planning to buy a car, because EMI के साथ साल में वो भी जुड़ेगा. Yeah, and home insurance is again a very inexpensive kind of an insurance which kind of protects your home against it can be for a wide variety of reasons: theft, fire, damage, even natural calamities, for instance, and so on. Travel insurance तो आप सबको पता ही होगा. I'm hoping everybody has done some trip or the other, but we'll leave that bucket for now. I think that pretty much is the general idea that everybody has. So Mukul, can you move on to the next slide, please, guys? You have insurance. I don't want to influence your decision. थोड़ा सा IRDA का report, just try and look at it into it. 4 or 5 names I've already told, they are the top players. Do have a look at it, and I think you will be able to. I mean, I'll be very happy if you are able to make this decision basis this session today. So yeah, another intentional joke, guys. I am done. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this session was helpful, and I hope that we don't get attacked by Thanos and we don't need an alien abduction insurance. I'll keep on looking at the group chat and answer questions there, and I'll let Vaibhav take over. All right. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Rahul. That was pretty comprehensive. I think 2 hours for an insurance session is pretty good. And we hope we have answered almost all the questions asked till now. Guys, why did we think that insurance should be the first topic after the introduction day before yesterday? Because whenever we start doing any personal finance, right? So the 2 things which I really lay very much stress upon is that first, your insurance should be in place. and second, your emergency corpus should be there. Between the two, I can't prioritize, but these two are equally important. Guys, please stay on mute. So see, generally, this is the best time to understand this importance of both health insurance and life insurance, and then emergency corpus as well. I think I covered this the day before yesterday as well. Right now, Corona is not, I mean, the life insurance companies are not covering Corona, but I have heard that many of the health insurance companies are covering the benefits out of the coronavirus. So this is where this will eventually come out to be a little useful. Otherwise, what happens is that many times people think that just keep on paying, and you are getting nothing. Now, I don't want to get much into insurance now. It's already been long that it has been covered. I just remembered one example or one very good fact which I was reading yesterday, and I am very much sure that most of you have read about it. You guys must have heard that what happened to Wimbledon, right? Wimbledon got postponed this or cancelled this year. It's the first time since the World War II that Wimbledon has been cancelled. For those who do not know, the fact is that 2003, Wimbledon, the organizers decided that let's buy a pandemic insurance. Pandemic insurance, they were paying $2 million, and there were many questions as to was pandemic insurance, why are you buying a pandemic insurance right now? And every year they were just keep on paying $2 million, $2 million, $2 million each. Now, when pandemic has really arrived, they have actually received $141 million from the insurance company. I mean, sometimes you just need to keep paying without thinking. And it's not only the profit that they have made from that $2 million over the 16 years, and then they are getting $141 million. That's one part. The second part is they are obviously they are going to incur a lot of losses this year, right? So at least this will cover to some extent. I am not sure whether IPL, whether these Hotstar and these channels which are telecasting IPL have done the same or not. I am not aware of that transaction, or if they are having any such thing. But I am very sure that these kind of things are generally taken care of. One more point is that what I feel in one line, what insurance is, wherever you are, you have to replace your any type of asset with a financial asset. This is called an insurance. Your life is your asset, your health is your asset. So these are your intangible assets, right? And then you would have seen whenever you go and book a ticket on IRCTC, it is asking you 0.49 rupees, 49 paisa for insurance. Generally you take it because it's 49 paisa only, that's fine. But when you go and book a ticket, flight ticket on Make My Trip, it asks you for an insurance of 250 rupees, it will cover XYZ things. Do you really do it? Because 250 rupees, you would think, yaar, abhi 4,000 ki ticket hai, why should I pay 4250? So generally what happens, you need to, I also never, it's not like I always take it. I also sometimes skip over it. But you need to really think that if obviously this airline insurance is insuring you with regards to your loss of baggage, your baggage delays, your flight lands somewhere else, some issue happens, this and that. So it's one's call. But I would really say that if you are okay paying all these amounts, generally secure your asset. It's just a security against your asset. So those are the only two things I just wanted to add in case of insurance. I'm sure rest Rahul has already covered. What I am thinking right now that we have another 15 minutes left for the session, to give you a brief overview of the products in general, the relationship between the returns and the risk. So Mukul, can you just go to that slide, the slide which is after that module 3 slide? I think that would be 9th or 10th one. Hello, Mukul.
Yeah, Vaibhav, should I remove these slides?
Not remove. There are few slides towards the end. Yeah, there are 2-3 slides towards the end. We just want to go to them.
Okay, just this one.
Yes, that curve. Yeah, correct. So guys, if you see, so there's always a risk and return trade-off between all the kinds of assets. Your potential risk, and why cash is at a little bit of a higher risk, because I don't even see after that 8th November 2016 case that cash is also completely risk free, right? Your cash is also at a risky position. But having said that, jokes apart, cash is the least riskiest asset. And as you go up the curve, you will eventually find different kind of products on the increasing kind of a curve. So government bonds, then there is a higher yield fixed income, then there are large companies, large cap, small cap, then venture capitalist. Although this is a very like only 5 or 6 products mentioned over here, when I'll be taking this thing in a completely detailed viewpoint on I think day 4, then I'll have around 25 to 30 different kind of products mapped on this kind of a chart, risk versus returns, and potentially what kind of a returns you can expect from these instruments. So let's start dealing with a little bit of fixed income today in 10 minutes, and then I'll just give you a very brief understanding about this asset class, because I would assume equities to sabko samajh mein aata hai, because India mein there is very much all the people are looking at stock markets, this and that, so everybody understands what share market is, what Nifty is, Sensex is. But there is not much understanding with people regarding the bond market or the fixed income market. This is something which is not matured in India. We do not have a great market, great liquidity, and hence nobody cares about it, right? But in US, in other developed countries, this is the better. I mean, people generally prefer these kind of asset classes as well as in comparison to probably equities and all. So there's a great market over there. Now, I just wanted to quickly explain how these bond markets should be looked at. Equity में क्या होता है कि if there is a company which is doing good, उसके profits ऊपर जा रहे हैं, तो उसका share price भी ऊपर जाएगा. There are a lot of conditions around it, but very in a straightforward way speaking, profits are going up, share price will go up. And you see, कौन सी company is good in which sector, which company is good in this XYZ sector, and then which company might do good in future, and then you buy that stock. इसमें थोड़ा उल्टा चलता है. You understand the concept of the interest rates, right? So bonds का क्या होता है कि these bonds can be purchased just like your equities. Let's say and it's always a fresh purchase. Just assume that there is a fresh purchase of a bond. Now, what a bond is? Take for example a government company. Take for example Power Grid. Power Grid is a government company. Power Grid wants to raise some money. Power Grid what can company do when they are going to raise some money? Either they can do an IPO. Now this company is already listed. They can do an FPO, which is a follow-on public offer, or they can do a rights offering. There are various methods, right, to raise some capital. So this is capital raised through equities. But there is a market which is capital raised through debt markets. Generally, ये बहुत बड़ा होता है vis-a-vis the equity market, because we all know that IPO is coming, so everybody will be interested in IRCTC का IPO आया, या इसका आया, या SBI कार्ड का आया. This is a news which is flashed over and over again and again by all the news. But कोई नया bond issue होता है, तो we generally do not get to know. Why? Because these products are generally not for the retail asset class. So, but I'll just give you an example. Let's say Power Grid wants to raise 100 crores or let's say 1000 crores through debt market. It will issue bonds. That bonds will be subscribed. That bonds are generally issued at let's say 1000 rupees par, which is like let's say IPO का price 1000 rupees है, इसी तरह bond का 1000 होता है. This is generally called the par price. Now what is the term and conditions which are related to it? I'll try to show you this on an Excel. Mukul, I'm sharing my screen, okay?
Yeah, Vaibhav, I'll actually stop sharing the screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, Vaibhav.
Great. So guys, see, this is a formula which P is your bond price, and then there I have explained you various terminologies over there. Now what happens, and just see to me first, what Power Grid will say to its investors, to whosoever has subscribed to its bonds, are that give us, let's say I buy one share, I buy just one bond, which is 1000 rupees, of which it will be mentioned that the coupon is, let's say, assume 10%. So 10% is coupon, which is also called interest. This is, let's say, annually. So annually on every, let's say 1st of April, I will get 10% of 1000, which is 100 rupees, right? Now at 10 rupee and current prevailing rates today, when it has issued this bond to me today, let's say today the interest rates are, prevailing interest rates are 7%. So if you put 7 in place of I and put this 100 in place of C, and then put, let's say it's a 10-year bond, right? So it will say that every 10 for 10 years, every 1st of April till 2030 or 2031, from 21 to 30, yeah, 2021 to 2030, we'll keep on paying you 100 rupees on every first, or 10% of your investment on every 1st of April. And on the last installment, we'll pay you the remaining amount. The principal amount. So you, in the last installment, you get 1000 plus 100, which is 1100. Just ignore the 1 plus i's in the denominator. Just understand the concept. So every year you get 10%, and in the final you get your principal plus that 10%. So this is simple. This is nothing but it's kind of an interest that they are paying you, which they have already defined, right? Now when they had issued this bond, now this bond is generally traded on the exchanges. Though there is very, very less liquidity available, you cannot just, like a share, you cannot just go and buy and acha price mil jayega. There are not enough players who are buying and selling these bonds on the market. So uska acha price nahi milta hai. I mean, the intrinsic price, so anyways, it's very hard to calculate for the bonds. So but they are listed. So you can go and trade, but liquidity nahi hai. So this is the first point. But how do you find the price of that bond? If you put in, let's say 8% over here, let's say 8% in place of 1 plus I, and then just do a sum of it. Generally what happens is, if you are putting 8% over here in place of I, and assuming the coupon is 8%, right? The interest rate is equal to the coupon. So whatever the prevailing rates are, I'll just write some numbers over here if you can see the screen properly. Prevailing interest rate is 8%, coupon promised will be 8%. If these both are same, and if you put in this formula, the value of P will be equals to the value of M, which is like 1000. So यहाँ पे क्या होगा कि if the interest and the coupon is equal, the price of the bond in the market will remain 1000. This is a little bit of math, so just be with me. Any questions I can take, you can just type in, but just listen to me carefully. Now what happens is that C has been fixed. The coupon which the company has been paying has been fixed. वो तो बोल दिया 2020 में कि बॉस ये वाला कूपन, ये वाला बॉन्ड आपने लिया है, इसका 10 साल तक आपको 8% के हिसाब से 80 रुपए मिलेगा. Just forget the 10% what I was talking about. Just be with 8%, and because current rate is 8%. Now let's say the RBI comes and then अपना repo rate कम कर देते हैं. There are a lot of things which happen, and over the period of time this interest rate, the I starts decreasing. Let's say I goes to 7%. Let's say I goes to 6%. So if the denominator is decreasing and the C is constant, generally what will happen to P is the value increases, right? P might be, if I goes to 6%, and I do not know, I need to put in the formula, abhi wo karke dekh lenge. The P will be equal to 1000, let's say 1050, 1000, whatever. So let's put in this, C is equal to 80. Just I'll show you and I has fallen down to 6%. M is equal to 1000, which is the invested amount or the par value. N is, let's say, is 10 years. And what is the bond price then? So the bond price will be equal to, so these are for 10 years, right? So I'm also showing you how it is done. So if you do it for these 10 years, and initial year is obviously your 0, where it has been issued. Now what happens is you are getting 80 rupees every year. So 80 has to be there every year for 10 years, correct? And now this is your interest rate is 6%. And if you know Excel, you should know how to lock the number so that when you copy it, it doesn't get stressed, and everywhere it would be 6%. And so what will be the value over here? C upon 1 plus I, right, to the power number of year, correct? And then you sum it up, or in fact you do it for all these years, and this will be the value, because the value is decreasing because obviously denominator is getting increased because that's the present value. And the last year you get your 1,000 rupees back as well, right? And this would be, so the total value of that bond today, it is sum of all these, and it would be 1147. So just like I was explaining you that the value of P will increase because the denominator is decreasing, and then you can see the if the market is currently at 6%, the interest rates are currently at 6%, the value of that bond will be 1147. Now let's say let's do it at 8%, right? 8% पे क्या आनी चाहिए value? Ideally it should come at 1,000. Let's try. So see, when your coupon and your interest is same, in fact let's do this with 100 rupees so that you can have a better understanding here. Right, so अब जब हमारा I और C equal है तो value उसकी 100 rupees ही आएगी. Now you keep on changing this, your if it increases to 9%, the value of P will go down to 93.58. You make it down to 4%, आधा हो गया, the value will rise to 100 का 132 हो जाएगा. So now what is happening in the falling interest rate scenario and how you should think about investing in bond market or not is, so generally equity में जैसे मैंने बताया कि if you are seeing that the market, the companies are, underlying companies are going to do good, the economy is going to do good, तो stock market बढ़ता है. How do you decipher कि bond market का क्या होगा? Now you know that the interest rates, government is, RBI is just decreasing. Why is it decreasing? Because obviously they need a lot of liquidity in the market. Although I'll go into the detail probably tomorrow, but just understand that if you see that the interest rates are going to be cut, you know that I will be coming down. If I comes down, your value of P will increase. Now generally what happens is you do not know the value of I kya hogi, but on the exchanges the bond is trading. Now let's say the bond is trading at 132.4436. Now you never know the value of I. Generally क्या होता है कि I is kind of a market price, क्या चल रहा है, market yields क्या चल रही है. It's just like the share price. Share price might not be equal to the intrinsic price, right, which is calculated by a lot of financial valuation models. So similarly 4% is just our assumption कि 4% होगा. ये 4% I है back calculate करके. So if you put 132 in place of P and 88 rupees in place of C and 100 rupees in place of M and 10 in place of N, then you can calculate I. Obviously it's not a simple equation to calculate a simple equation or a quadratic equation. It's a kind of a polynomial equation. You can calculate it by software using Excel and all. And finally we'll see that I की value 4% आ रही है. Now this 4% will be what is quoted on the exchange कि currently the bond yields are on let's say Power Grid is 4%. This is what is said, that bond yield currently are 4%, and analyst will say that we are looking that bond yields might go to 3%. अब अगर उन्होंने कहा ये 3% जाएगा तो ये 132 का on an intrinsic value ये 142 rupees हो जाएगा, and people would generally want to buy this bond. But if someone is saying that economy is doing good and the government or the RBI might increase the interest rates, that means they are saying the interest rates might go to 7%. 4 से 7 चला जाएगा, the value of the bond will decrease. At that point of the time, you should not invest in the bonds. This is the concept of the bond market. ये price and yields उल्टा चलता है, इसलिए इसको थोड़ा सा you need to think about how to make use of it. Harshal, very good. I just saw this chat now. So this is how I'm just saying the calculators are obviously there are available, but this is how it's done on the Excel, right? It's 10:30. I was just thinking to give you a brief about how maths you can apply in the bond market. Generally, there is a profession, bond traders. They, you know what? This is a very, very lucrative profession. People make tons and tons of money when they are trading bonds. When they are trading options and they are trading bonds, they trade FX like foreign exchange. And what I know is that people who are doing this either go crazy in the first 2-3 years And if they stick for 3 years and they do this for 10-15 years, they retire at the age of 35 or 40. It's so much. जो इतना maths करके बताया है, you just tell them these few of the things, and then it can be tweaked in a lot of ways. Yeah, this is a normal plain vanilla bond. There can be a callable bond, puttable bond, ye bond, wo bond. There's a lot of things which can go behind all these bond pricings and all. So let's start with this, and then we'll show that just that I said that if you are seeing that the interests are going to increase, you should not buy this, but you should always have these in your portfolio. This is because what you have heard, that always be there with a fixed income rather than equity, because it gives you a stability. अगर इतना ज़्यादा variation आ रहा है, then what sort of stability is that, right? 132 to 107. So these are few examples which I've just taken in an extreme kind of a cases. 4% का 7% नहीं होता इतनी जल्दी. So that is it. I think now, how do we estimate if I'm going to increase or it is going to increase? ठीक है, Bhavya will do it tomorrow. There are a lot of things which you have to keep in mind over here. Just like you analyze a company and you have to take hundreds of things into considerations. How is the sector doing? How is the company doing? How is the management? What is the PE ratio? What are these financial ratios? There are a few of the risks which are associated with bonds, and then they have to look at the macro, what's happening in US, what is happening in UK, and then probably the India scenario. ये थोड़ा सा detail हो जाएगा, so probably we can touch upon it tomorrow when we are doing fixed income in detail. Coupon bond comes with reinvestment risk. Yes, Harshal, I am not touching in the risks associated with these bonds right now. So this was just to give you a little bit of snapshot into the difficult product class. The easier product class, the equity, is everybody's favorite. We'll touch on it tomorrow as well. Any other quick question over here, or it's time we should wrap up and meet tomorrow? Rahul?
No, I think I would not want to answer Devesh's question.
Devesh, ऐसे plan मत बनाओ यार.
Corona is going to end, Devesh. Let's hope.
Corona is no suicide.
Yeah. So I think let's meet tomorrow. I think it's Saturday night. People might want to watch something on Netflix and Amazon, I'm guessing, and get prepped up for tomorrow's session. So yeah, we'll I think we should meet tomorrow.
Achha, just one more point. Sorry to interrupt, Rahul. Mukul would have sent a Google form, a link to a Google form, guys. So I just made it for you. There are some 10 questions in it. Just answer all the questions. Just select the drop downs, whatever you feel like. This is a behavioral questionnaire. I have modeled some kind of a responses to it, that if you select any option, there are few of the marks which are not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. But I have done some kind of a research where I have allocated some points to every option. Once you submit, all of you submit this, probably after the 4th day or the starting of the 5th day, we will send out that email to everybody of you to tell you what kind of a risk profile do you have that you have, right? There are generally 5 categories which I have kept, like aggressive and conservative on the extreme, and then there are 3 categories more between that. So do fill in that and fill in properly, like ऐसे नहीं कुछ भी answer mark कर दिया. Okay, so tomorrow NCDs, debentures, ये पूरा this will be like 5-7 minutes. So let's stop here and see you guys tomorrow then.